Hello and welcome to today's quick video on why you shouldn't stop your pendulum moving between questions. My name is Renu Arora and I'm an energy healer and I use a pendulum in all my work. And I'm here to teach you how to master your pendulum too. So let's dive in. Now, many people will tell you that you should start with a very still pendulum when you're asking your questions and allow it to show you a yes and show you a no from scratch. That's great if you want to go really, really slowly. The fact is, and I'll show you. So my pendulum moves yes for in a front to back and no is a side to side. So if I'm asking a yes question, you see how long that takes to start, but eventually we get a yes, and then we stop, and then show me a no, and now it's really a really slow no. That takes a really, really long time. But if I'm asking questions and you've got a little bit of momentum going, when you have some momentum going, if your pendulum is going to switch directions, it's going to do it in a great big wide arc. And if you've watched my earlier videos where I tell you you should hold your pendulum in such a way that you can feel it right at the chain, as soon as it starts to switch, you'll be prepared to move your hand along with it. So if my pendulum is answering something with a yes, that's great. And now it's going to shift to a no. I can feel it and I can move my hand. And you could see how it did just this super wide arc, way faster than starting from still. Now, I actually suggest that once you start to feel the pendulum in a particular answer, so again, let's say it's giving me a yes, or it started giving me a yes, and I can feel it, I know it's going to a yes, I'll give it a little bit of kick. I will give it some additional momentum so that it will have all that energy in order to move faster. Now, you might be worried that by giving it momentum that you'll be kind of forcing it and forcing it into a particular movement. You're not. It's kind of like a pendulum will defy physics in order to make sure that you get the move the move that you're supposed to. So I'm going to have you do a little trick or a little test yourself. If your pendulum wants to give you a yes motion and it's clear, it's absolutely going to be yes, if I were to move my hand very gently in a side-to-side motion like that, you can literally feel like there's a wall of force pushing your pendulum to try and keep it going straight. So you actually can't force your pendulum into changing directions without unless you are intentionally doing it. You cannot do it accidentally. It will change only if it intends to change. Like I said, if you're worried that you're going to manipulate the answers, absolutely not. If you trust your pendulum, you will get the accurate answers. Now, you'll see in my other videos, I move my hand a lot because that's exactly the thing. If I'm starting to feel the motion, my hand is just sort of moving along with it because I can feel it. I know, again, even when I'm doing this, I can feel like the wall of force keeping it going into that yes direction. But I'll be honest, I've had people ask me or say to me, "Are you moving it?" And you might get that same question too. The fact is, you can tell them exactly what I say. I'm not moving the pendulum. I am moving with the pendulum. Because if I were moving the pendulum, that would imply that I knew what the answers were ahead of time. If I knew what the answers were ahead of time, I wouldn't need a pendulum at all. Right? So that's my tip regarding that. Now, one concern that I'm sure you've got about keeping the pendulum in motion is not being sure between one question to the next if you've got the same answer each time. So I've just said by shifting like this will help you see a different answer. So if you're shifting from one question to the next, a yes answer and then a no and then back to a yes or what it happens to be. There's the obvious question of, well, what happens if you're going from a yes answer to another yes answer? I have another video that's going to help you out with exactly that question. It's on boosting confidence by making your pendulum shift directions. So check out that video. That will answer what that'll give you the insight into that piece. If you want any other tips and tricks, then please check out my other videos or get a copy of my book, The No Nonsense Guide to Pendulums. You can find out more information on that in the link to my bio, as well as in the description underneath this video. So until next time, happy dowsing.